The Great Leap Forward was a massive socio-economic campaign launched by Mao Zedong in 1958, aimed at rapidly transforming China from an agrarian society into a modern, industrialized communist nation. This ambitious initiative sought to accelerate economic growth through collectivization of agriculture and rapid industrialization, particularly in rural areas. The significance of the Great Leap Forward cannot be overstated in the context of modern Chinese history. It represents a pivotal moment that reshaped the country's economic and social landscape, with far-reaching consequences that continue to influence China's development to this day. Two key examples of the Great Leap Forward's policies were the establishment of large-scale communes and the widespread implementation of backyard steel furnaces. Communes were created by merging smaller agricultural collectives, aiming to increase productivity through economies of scale. Meanwhile, millions of Chinese citizens were encouraged to produce steel in makeshift furnaces, often melting down household items to meet unrealistic production quotas. Supporters of the Great Leap Forward, primarily within the Chinese Communist Party, initially hailed it as a revolutionary approach to economic development. They argued that through mass mobilization and collective effort, China could overcome its technological and economic backwardness in record time. However, the Great Leap Forward faced numerous challenges and controversies. The rapid collectivization of agriculture disrupted traditional farming practices, leading to widespread crop failures. Unrealistic production targets and misreporting of grain yields resulted in severe food shortages. The backyard steel furnaces produced low-quality metal, wasting valuable resources. These factors, combined with natural disasters, contributed to a catastrophic famine that claimed millions of lives. The Great Leap Forward's impact extended beyond its immediate economic consequences. It influenced subsequent Chinese policies, including the Cultural Revolution, and shaped the country's approach to economic reform in later decades. The campaign's failure also led to power struggles within the Communist Party and temporarily diminished Mao's authority. Understanding the Great Leap Forward is crucial for grasping the complexities of China's modern history, the challenges of rapid industrialization, and the potential consequences of ambitious social engineering projects. It serves as a stark reminder of the human cost that can result from unchecked political ambition and ideological fervor. The Great Leap Forward was an ambitious economic and social campaign launched by Mao Zedong in 1958, aiming to rapidly transform China from an agrarian society into a modern, industrialized nation. The origins of this campaign can be traced to Mao's desire to accelerate China's development and surpass Western powers, particularly in steel production and agricultural output. The primary goals of the Great Leap Forward were to collectivize agriculture, boost industrial production, and achieve rapid economic growth. Mao believed that through mass mobilization and the power of human will, China could overcome its technological and economic limitations. This campaign was significant as it represented a radical departure from Soviet-style economic planning and had far-reaching consequences for Chinese society and economy. Two specific examples of the campaign's initiatives include the establishment of large-scale communes and the backyard steel furnace program. Communes were created by merging smaller agricultural collectives with the aim of increasing efficiency and output. The backyard furnace program encouraged citizens to produce steel in small, homemade furnaces, often using household items as raw materials. Supporters of the Great Leap Forward, primarily party officials and ideologues, believed that it would quickly modernize China and prove the superiority of the communist system. They argued that traditional economic theories didn't apply to China's unique situation and that revolutionary fervor could overcome material limitations. However, the campaign faced numerous challenges and controversies. Many economists and experts warned that the goals were unrealistic and that the methods employed were inefficient and potentially harmful. The rapid collectivization of agriculture disrupted traditional farming practices, while the focus on steel production diverted resources from other crucial sectors. The Great Leap Forward's impact extended beyond its immediate economic goals, influencing Chinese politics, society, and culture for years to come. It led to a severe famine that resulted in millions of deaths, strained relations within the Communist Party, and set the stage for future political upheavals like the Cultural Revolution. The campaign's failure ultimately forced the Chinese leadership to reassess their approach to economic development, leading to more moderate policies in the following years. The Great Leap Forward serves as a stark reminder of the potential consequences of prioritizing ideology over practical considerations in economic planning and the dangers of unchecked political power. The implementation of collectivization and industrialization policies during Mao's Great Leap Forward represented a radical transformation of China's economy and society. These policies aim to rapidly modernize the country, boost agricultural production, and accelerate industrial growth through massive social engineering and economic restructuring. Collectivization involved the consolidation of individual farms into large-scale collective units, known as people's communes. This process abolished private land ownership and forced peasants to work together on communal farms. Simultaneously, industrialization efforts focused on increasing steel production and developing heavy industries, often through small-scale backyard furnaces and rural factories. The significance of these policies lies in their ambitious scale and devastating consequences. Mao's vision for rapid development led to widespread famine, economic collapse, and millions of deaths. The Great Leap Forward became one of the most catastrophic man-made disasters in history, highlighting the dangers of ideologically driven economic policies and autocratic rule. Two specific examples illustrate the impact of these policies. First, the establishment of people's communes disrupted traditional farming practices and led to unrealistic production quotas. Farmers were forced to abandon proven agricultural techniques in favor of experimental methods, resulting in crop failures and food shortages. Second, the Backyard Steel campaign saw millions of Chinese citizens melting down household items in makeshift furnaces, producing largely unusable steel while neglecting essential agricultural work. Supporters of these policies, primarily within the Chinese Communist Party at the time, believed they would rapidly transform China into a modern, industrialized nation capable of competing with Western powers. However, this view was based on ideological fervor rather than sound economic principles. Challenges and controversies surrounding these policies include debates over the true death toll, which ranges from 15 to 55 million, and the long-term impact on Chinese society and economy. Critics argue that the Great Leap Forward set back China's development by years and caused immense human suffering. The implementation of collectivization and industrialization policies during the Great Leap Forward connects to broader themes of communist ideology, totalitarian control, and the human cost of rapid modernization. It influenced subsequent Chinese economic policies, leading to a more pragmatic approach under Deng Xiaoping, and serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of utopian social engineering and the suppression of dissenting voices in policymaking. The impact of Mao's Great Leap Forward on agricultural production and rural communities was profound and devastating. This heading refers to the dramatic changes and consequences that occurred in China's countryside as a result of Mao's ambitious economic and social campaign. The Great Leap Forward aimed to rapidly industrialize China and collectivize agriculture, but its policies led to widespread famine and economic disaster in rural areas. This point is crucial to understanding the overall failure of the campaign and its human cost, as the majority of China's population at the time lived in rural communities and depended on agriculture for survival. One example of the impact on agricultural production was the implementation of communal farming, which replaced traditional family-based farming methods. Farmers were forced to work in large collectives, often using experimental and ineffective techniques promoted by the government. This led to a significant drop in crop yields and food shortages. Another example was the diversion of rural labor to industrial projects, such as backyard steel furnaces, which took farmers away from their fields and further reduced agricultural output. Many historians and economists argue that the Great Leap Forward's agricultural policies were fundamentally flawed and based on unrealistic expectations. They contend that the campaign's emphasis on quantity over quality and its disregard for traditional farming knowledge contributed to the catastrophic decline in food production. However, some supporters of Mao argue that the intentions behind the agricultural reforms were noble, aiming to modernize China's farming sector and improve rural living standards. They suggest that external factors, such as natural disasters and the withdrawal of Soviet support, exacerbated the negative outcomes. The impact on rural communities extended beyond agriculture, affecting social structures, cultural traditions, and family dynamics. The collectivization of rural life disrupted long-standing community bonds and individual autonomy. This point connects to the broader theme of the Great Leap Forward's attempt to rapidly transform Chinese society, highlighting the tension between centralized control and local realities. Understanding the impact on agricultural production and rural communities is essential for grasping the full scope of the Great Leap Forward's consequences. It illustrates how ambitious political goals can have dire real-world effects when implemented without proper planning or consideration for local conditions.